Hello guys, my name is Elliot Greenwood and welcome back to PixelArt. In this video we'll be using the same 32 by 32 pixel size canvas and today I'm going to draw a barrel. Now of course the barrel will be somewhat medieval based object. So without further ado, let's begin. This time I'm planning to use a mirror tool and I'll be using a black color for now just to get the outline, because it's really important to get the shape done first. And to make things easier for myself, I'm going to toggle on a grid on 8 pixels size. So normally people would probably draw this barrel like this, something like that, but as you can see it's quite an ugly shape. But that's not what we really want. So my goal will be to try and fill in this entire square. I'm not going to leave any gaps on the sides like this, for example. I'm going to make something like this. So let's begin. So I'm going to hold shift while having the mirror tool selected. This way this tool will draw in 4 directions. And since we're starting with the full width, I'm going to start drawing from the sides first. So now there's gonna be quite a bit of math involved in this shape, but don't worry about it, I'll get you through it. It's not as difficult as it sounds. So the first line I want to make is 8 right here, and then from that point I'm going to build 5, 3 and 4. So now we have 8, 5, 4 and 3. As you can see, the shape is quite alright, but I think it could go like this. Yep, that's pretty much it. That's the shape. So that's going to be the main area that the barrel will fill in the canvas. Now the other point is going to be somewhere here. Make a 6 pixel gap right here, and then we're gonna put 1 pixel right here, and we're just gonna draw straight lines like this for now. Now you don't really have to draw the straight lines, you can go straight ahead to the point. I'm going to slowly draw these lines bent outwards. Now as you can see, this line is 8, which means that this line should be 12. And if we check correctly, yes it is. So this one should be 16. And let's see, it doesn't really work like this, so we can just remove 1 pixel from the side, and I think this shape will do. Now of course if you don't like it like that, we can move the middle lines further in just to check if that works out, and it seems that this way works far better. So let's just do some micro fixing. Let's see. Yeah, I think 1 pixel difference from each side will do. So I'm just looking at this screen over here, and it seems that the shape is... it's good. It's good. Okay, so we can start working on the colors. Now obviously the barrels are made out of wood, at least the medieval ones. So we're going to use orange color again, and this time we're going to use this area, which is like a 3/4 to this side. So we're gonna choose a middle point, which is going to be the core color. Actually, let's fill in all of these spots like this, and I'm going to tone down these by 1 tone using light and darken tool, and that way we're gonna create nice shading. Now what I want to do is isolate all of these colors. So hold shift and create 2 layers. Rename this one as front blank, mid blanks, side blanks. I'm going to clone another layer and call this one outlines. And just move it down. Remove the opacity. In the outlines layer, I'm just going to delete all the colors. In the front one, I'm just going to keep the front blank and remove all the outlines, and just do the same thing to all layers. This way I can just separate all the objects like that. It's really up to you if you want to keep these outlines, but since I'm going for a somewhat more realistic touch, I'm going to replace these outlines very soon. I have to add these outlines on the side like this. And as you can see now here, we have a barrel shape without any dark outlines, and it looks nice so far. Now for the barrel to make more sense, we will have to add another layer, and this layer will be the metal framing that are holding this barrel together. So we're just going to draw the top like this, do the same thing at the top and the bottom. And now the issue is here with these pixels. Now we need to check if we can remove these pixels, but clearly we cannot, because it will make the barrel shape look weird. So we're gonna have to work around this. Now for these two lines, that's why this grid is very useful. Here we will figure out where to draw these middle sections, and I already found this spot. It's really good to make these strips attached in the middle between these lines and not like on the edge, because that again it's gonna throw off the shape, at least for me. But if it works for you, you can go ahead and use it as long as you're happy with it. And as you can see now from the overall basic shape, this looks like a barrel. Now to make it look cooler, you could probably just add some outlines like this, like 4 pixels like here, 4 pixels here. This will give the barrel more of an interesting shape without adding these metal strips to these pixels. And to keep this whole thing consistent, I guess we can do the same thing to this beam as well, like that, and maybe draw on top as a support frame holder or something like that. At this point it's just more of a fantasy touch, see what works best. So I guess we can make it 3 here and 2 here, so we could show that this barrel is going around and all these beams are going around. But if we're doing this method, we kind of have to do the same thing here. Just extending this part and reducing the length of these parts will make more sense. And just like that, we actually got quite an interesting shape. And with that, I think we can start texturing it. We're gonna reduce the layer opacity to 0 so we could see only the shapes that we're working on. And I'm just going to gently shade them down using the darken lighten tool, like this. And just like that, we have wooden texture shaded, but as a final touch, I would like to add a dark outlines just on the edges. And these will act as a gaps. So that will give us gaps between the planks. So now we're just gonna fix this area a little bit more, because to me it seems that it's lacking darker tones. Now the wooden part is done. Now the metal parts. Now with the metal we can't really do the same thing. However, we're gonna level tone down from this part right here, just using the darken lighten tool, just holding shift control. And I just worked on this one beam like that, and we're just gonna copy the same thing on the top here. With the realistic toning, just light this one up and darken this one down. So this would be at the top, this one would be at the bottom. According to the realistic light, it would make sense. Now about these top and bottom ones. Basically going from the middle to the edge and just toning down, and this way we will be able to get a nice result. Now in order to copy this one onto the bottom, we're gonna copy this part, create a new layer, paste it in, and we're going to hold Alt, click on this button. That's how we clone bottom. We're just gonna merge the layers together, and again I'm going to shade the bottom part down by 1 tone and up the top part. So basically at this point the light is coming from the top, more in the middle. That's why the top parts are more brighter and the bottom ones are slightly more darker. And that's it pretty much. That's how we create a barrel. Now, if you want variations, just export it. Make sure to select the scale on 1 and then just download the image, create new sprite, upload it here. Now there's gonna be quite an interesting trick. Since we want to have these metal attachments the same, duplicate the same layer, from the bottom layer I'm just going to delete all these gray parts using the Alt Pixel tool. That way I'm just going to keep the metal frame separated from the wood. Now we're just going to extend this file to the sides by 4 units, B128, select middle. Then we're gonna set up the grid to 32. We need one more, so we need 160, I guess. There we go. And we're going to clone the wood layer multiple times. Then we're going to toggle on layer opacity and then just move each wooden object. Just like that, we're gonna have multiple barrels. Just to make sure, I'm just going to call this number 3, which is middle, number 1, number 2, then metal frame layer. So from the metal frame, we're just going to delete all the wooden pixels just to have these metal parts separated, and then just copy these metal parts across the board. And just like this, we can create variations of wood, just like we did with the crates. Now, as you can see, again, we have a variation of wood types, and this barrel actually looks pretty cool. Same goes for this one. And just like that, we created a bunch of barrels. It looks very cool. So I hope you learned something new. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this. If you have any suggestions that you would like to see me draw, drop a comment down below. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel for more content. And thanks for watching again, and I'll see you next time.